Hello all, thank you for joining. Gotta find my little thing. Today's video is after a pretty crazy week with a $10,000 swing, top to bottom. It's crazy. But anyway, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of cool stuff, including a whole bunch of bullish signals, so much to share, stunning data, how mainstream media is literally dead, and a new price target, and a ton more metrics too. And we'll look at exactly how much these ETFs are gobbling up, and it's quite insane. And who is actually stacking as well. And a big shout out as well to the team behind me that helps me with all this every single day. And B says, new to Patreon, and James has been killing it. Been following for a couple of years, and his insight has been life-changing. Wow, thank you for the compliment, B. And yes, it's been a good time, but I have stressed as well that it is a very, very important time to be in the markets. We're seeing crazy things happening. Let's touch on a few things. First of all, there's a Bitcoin only playlist for this series. People just want Bitcoin only content. Those who are here, check them out. Some of these videos have been watched 150,000 times, and we're not even in the full bull yet. And don't forget, 41 days to the halving, which is, I feel like that song, what's it called? The Final Countdown. It's literally happening. And just to put things in perspective too, BlackRock on March 5th, 2024, bought 14 times the daily issuance by miners. 14 times. That's going to be 28 times in 41 days. It's madness. Complete madness. Way beyond my wildest dreams. And every day gets stronger and better. And Fidelity chasing up the rear. In fact, looking at ETF volumes as we speak, we have 26 million in IBIT. We have 14 million in Fidelity and only 12 for Grayscale. Grayscale is normally higher than Fidelity in terms of volume, so it's going to be a good day for Fidelity as well. We'll break all that down in all the charts in a minute, but they do have 113,000 Bitcoin. So well done, Fidelity. And Fidelity, shout out to Fidelity as well. They're an OG in the space. They've been mining Bitcoin for 10 years. They know what this asset is, so it's so good to have TradFi players that really know what's up. Well done. In addition, ETFs are adding 25,000 Bitcoin a week on average. Week 8, they took in 30,000. Week 6, 45,000. Okay, we had week 3, of course. That was a big FTX dump. But again, this is going to go crazy real soon. Another quick thing as well to look at Bitcoin snapshot here, just to put things in perspective, 93.55% of all Bitcoin has already been mined. Call it 6% left to mine for the next 116 years. 6% left for the next 116 years. All right? And you've got guys like BlackRock gobbling up soon to be 28 times the supply. And if this continues, of course, that 28 4 years from now will become, guess what, 56, etc., etc. It is a super hard asset, and it's been super fascinating. And it's great to see the supply crunch. Let's talk about some other good news too. Fred Krueger, 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗡𝗚 on X, he's been very active lately, doing a lot of cool Bitcoin stuff too. And I'm breaking down one of his models, actually. I'm kind of building a model of models that takes into account Metcalfe's power law and a whole bunch of other things, as well as basic economic hardness, and try and mash it all together. It's going to take a little while, but 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗡𝗚 came out. Some people call him Uncle Fred. Basically, the entire story for Bitcoin for the next 24 months is TradFi loves Bitcoin. This is going to get us to Bitcoin $500,000 or so says my crystal ball. Of course, not financial advice. But literally, when you break down the demand-supply mechanics, crazy things are going to happen. How high, I'm not sure, but this will be a cycle like no other. That is, except for maybe the early days, 14 years ago. Now, another crazy news too, and that shows the hardness of the actual asset. Binance basically has no inflow at all. You can see the little dead line at the bottom. There's nobody pumping any Bitcoin onto the exchanges, which again means there's going to come a day when there's going to be none. The price will skyrocket. OTC desks will be empty. Miners won't have any to share. And people are going to have to bid to the moon to get a piece. That day is coming, and that's going to be fun. Also, another bullish signal. This is Kimchi Premium is back and it's bullish. And a shout out to Sanjay as well for this. The Kimchi Premium and what they call the carry trade reaches 10%, and that's a 2-year high. And that means two things. One, it's a very bullish sign for Bitcoin. And two, Korean retail investors are getting back in the game. Okay? And then it'll be the Japanese. Actually, the Japanese are looking to approve the ability for Japanese citizens to buy American Bitcoin ETFs. And then we have Hong Kong launching 22 ETFs in about 45 days. And on and on and on. We have BlackRock last week launched, I think last Saturday, launched an ETF in Brazil. It's just everybody is coming all at the same time, and it's about to get really scarce. Now, shout out to mainstream media. I've been a subscriber to The Economist since 1990. Today, I cancelled my subscription because they are absolutely, I don't know. I mean, we do have some psyops out there in the system, but for a finance magazine that should at the very least understand economics, write this drivel. And I must say, it took me aback. Again, I'm canceling myself already this morning after 1990. Bye-bye, Economist, you turd. This is what they call the cockroach returns. The token is not going anywhere, yet it's now obvious that it is of limited use for payments as it restricted both the high cost and the slow speed of transactions. And it's now clear that Bitcoin is an investment asset, nothing more. So after its initial surge of interest, what will the returns look like? I don't know. It was just like, imagine having a party and somebody comes in and tries to throw a bucket of warm feces all over everybody. Sorry for my analogy. It's just, this is how desperate the mainstream media have become. The crap that they publish every single day about every key asset you need to hold is very upsetting. I'm actually going to do a little emergency Tesla video later, kind of like the one I did for Solana when it was at $10, to prove the assets are not dead. Anyway, TradFi, bye-bye, you're gone. Dead. Not Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a cockroach. They're right about that, by the way. Now, the world is waking up to proxies too. Shout out to Bitcoin Magazine saying that Bitcoin proxies are the new altcoins. And look what they highlighted. Coincidentally, two of my biggest positions. In fact, it's obscene what's happened to my portfolio because MicroStrategy and CleanSpark now are 2.5 times the size of my Bitcoin position. And it was the plan, but I never expected to get there so fast. It is insane, but the world is waking up to the importance of these proxies. Also, another thing which I always stress too is you see here very clearly year-to-date performance, the standouts. They also have Coinbase on there, but even that outperforms Bitcoin. The point here is winner takes most. Remember that, everybody. Winner takes most. I stress that a lot on this channel. Don't think because something is cheap that it's good. Remember that. Very important in life. Sometimes when things get oversold, they can be cheap and good, but not always. And speaking of miners like CleanSpark, they are making millions. I just posted this on Patreon actually not too long ago. But Bitcoin miners earned the second highest daily revenue yesterday, $75.9 million. They are minting millions, all right? This record is the previous record was $77.3 million on April 14th, 2021. What happened on April 14th, 2021? Remember anybody? Well, that was the time where I think the futures ETF launched, if I'm not mistaken, and then Bitcoin fell. But then it rose again in November of that same year and then fell again. But that was a manipulated cycle. We're seeing a very different cycle this time around. But anyway, Bitcoin miners are beaten down. A lot of people are anxious. They're not going to make it. My target, as I said way back in 2023, half the miners will go out of business if Bitcoin doesn't hit $70,000. And we are at $68,000. So they're going to make it. Many of them are going to make it. Some aren't going to make it, but many of them will. So don't be fretting that too much as well. Now, in other news as well, I keep talking about allocations. Pension funds seeking alpha. I covered that yesterday. Now, Stanford This is a cool presentation for documenting Bitcoin. You can listen to the whole video. I did. A university student run investment by Blythe Fund and organizes a small part of the school's endowment. By the way, if you look at the amount of money inside the Stanford University endowment, it is mind-blowing. But they have now allocated to Bitcoin. And this kid who gave the presentation is very smart. He also allocated to Solana, believe it or not. So there you go. And more are coming. Everybody needs alpha. 6040 is dead. Bitcoin is the shiny new thing, which, of course, for many of us who've been in for a long time, we know that as well. And speaking of holding Bitcoin, 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗡𝗚 said that it has identified Bitcoin addresses held by Tesla and SpaceX on chain. Tesla holds 11,510 Bitcoin in 68 addresses. It's worth nearly $1 billion. And SpaceX holds about 8,290 Bitcoin in 28 addresses, about $600 million worth, depending on the time you measure it. And Tesla's current profit on Bitcoin is over $500 million. Again, don't doubt Tesla. So they still hold. And they know what's up. Now let's talk about the raw numbers for ETF. We are day 38, everybody. Trading day 38. And you can see here, a little orange on the grayscale, 276.2 negative. That was beaten by BlackRock. So again, BlackRock, again, smoke grayscale. And of course, there's a lot more as well. Fidelity, ARK, they are adding a lot. Let's break it all down. It wasn't the strongest day ever, but there's a couple of things to note here. The green is going up, which is good, which means grayscale's dumping less. BlackRock did have a weak day, but they had a monster day yesterday. Again, not everything hits on the same day. And Fidelity had a nice strength moving up, and so did, who is that? ARK. ARK had another strong day too. We had the 12th best money day flow ever from 38. Not bad. It looks like the chart's going down, but again, it's not an even flow coming into these ETFs. The total money is still up and to the right, and you can see where the day ranks. Again, we did have 4 days ago, that weekday, day 35. And weakest day ever is day 9. But since then, it just keeps on coming in, getting stronger and stronger as we go. Another fun news too, we now have $18.73 billion into 9 new ETFs. That is a lot of money, soon to be $20 billion. And these 9 new ETFs hold now 384,100 Bitcoin. That is twice what MicroStrategy holds, which have been stacking for 4 years almost. And these 9 new ETFs brought in nearly 400,000 Bitcoin in 38 days. Well, it'll probably be very close to 400,000 in 40 days. So it's 10,000 Bitcoin a day going into these puppies. That's the easy way to think about it. Another view of the world as well. Super Soul Man, thank you for coming. This is the amount pulled from the system yesterday, 5,027. Remember, 900 are being mined a day. Only 80% of those being mined are actually sold. So 6 times the actual daily issuance was pulled from the system yesterday. 5,027 Bitcoin. Very, very big news. A couple of quick charts before I let you go and I get back to work. Bitcoin chart time. Bitcoin ETFs as well. They already have 50 billion under allocations across some of the big names as well. Now, the important thing is not the 50 billion, but it's soon going to be surpassing the size of the gold ETF, to the dismay of all the gold bugs out there. It's going to happen, I estimate, at this rate in another 25 to 30 trading days. Okay? And we'll be at the gold ETF level. Lord, thank you so much for coming out there in the United Kingdom. And yesterday, I did say all but forgotten, and we already hit 68K today. I put the little rocket ship on yesterday. This is yesterday's chart, not today's chart, just to show you that it was right. So we got back up. Again, when you see those types of wicked wicks, do not be afraid. If you don't have a position and you see something get $9,000, $10,000 cheaper real fast, you snag it before the ETFs do. Okay? Not financial advice, of course, but that's I picked up some proxies instead at that time. Anyhow, thank you all for joining. Hit the like on the way out, and I'll be back in a couple of hours with an emergency broadcast. And then later today, I'm recording with the Cyberbulls team too. That'll be launched first thing tomorrow morning as well. Thank you all for coming as well. Big shout out to Bottle of Red, Laird, Super Soul Man, Jeff Hammer, and Digital Assets, and the whole team. Thank you to the mods as well, TNT, Tesla, Cybert, and everybody else. Really appreciate you all coming, and I'll see you all later today. Back to work. Enjoy the markets. See ya.